Hello again. This is another quick update on the space station. When I started out with this, I didn't intend to do a series of videos. I think it was originally just going to be maybe two videos, but as I've been doing more to it, I thought I'd just share some of the techniques I've been using. As you can see here, these are the two docking bays, and there's a slight difference in them. What I've been doing, I sprayed these, or the base color of this was just like a satin white, and then I've actually used a wash. It's this wash. Let me just take that light away so you can see it. It's this MIG ammo neutral wash, and you can see it's a kind of like a kind of concrete color really, but it's very useful for weathering white items because it doesn't strike the detail as dark as maybe a grey wash, and it's an enamel wash, so you know the paint has to be pretty dry before you go putting this on. Now these were sprayed with automotive satin white, and if I hold that up a bit closer, you can see, get that to focus, that it's very, very subtle. Doesn't quite want to focus there, does it? But it's kind of like it's hard to describe really. It's not quite a grey, but it certainly tones the white down and makes it look a little less toy-like. And you can see where this detail is here. It just catches in the detail and it just separates the panels out. Now also you can see on here that I've painted these panels in black, and if you have a look at the shots of the actual filming miniature, where you see the Orion approaching, and the camera sort of moves inside the docking bay, and you can see all these little rooms with people moving around inside them, and you can see there's a fair bit of black in there. They look like some kind of vents or radiator panels or something. Now what's interesting is this, although it's okay, it doesn't really follow the pattern of the filming miniature. And when I say miniature, I suspect that the actual docking bay was a much larger model than the sort of whole station that you see rotating, because the detail in it is very, very fine. So so anyway, so as I say, two bays. Now this one is the complete one that's going to be the visible one at the front, that's all fully lit, and it's got the again there we go, it's focusing a bit better. It's got the sort of light strip front and back, which I masked off, and I've left this plain on the back so that the light shines through this and lights that up. I've also left some of the panels as just the bare styrene. There's one there, there's one in each side, and then there's this smaller one here. It doesn't really, as I say, match up with the filming miniature. They're not in the same place, but for something so small, it'll do the job. This is the modified one for the back that the spindle's going to go through, that's going to be driving this to rotate. Now I've bored the hole in there, 7mm hole, and I did it on the pillar drill, so it's come out dead center. And this is this sort of strengthener piece here with the block of wood inside. Now in order to light this, because I want this to have this kind of red glow coming from it, I've actually mounted two small, I think they're 3mm red LEDs in the sides, and they're firing that way towards the center. So I've sort of drilled the hole on a skew that way, and I've beefed it up on the back with a little bit of plasticard, and then I've epoxied these in so they're actually firing towards the center. And the idea being that you won't sort of see them from looking in that way, because if you look down there, it kind of looks like just the bare walls in there, but there is a hole where this light's going to come out, and hopefully it'll just give off, they're quite bright these, so it'll give off enough glow to throw the light out of the back. But given that this is going to be in here, you know, you're not really going to see much of the inside of that, but that's the idea with that. So once I get that wired up, I'll show it lit. Another thing, incidentally, the black panels on this, I don't tend to use pure black. I use this Revell color called Anthracite, which is number 9, and although if you pick it up it does look like matte black, it's actually a very, very, very dark grey. And again, black is too stark really for something this small. So if you use, although it does look black on the camera there, it is actually grey. So moving on to the wheel, this is the obviously the construction ring. Now what I've done is I've gone a sort of different approach to how I've seen some people do it. A lot of people have painted this first and then painted the ring. I've gone for the ring first. What I actually did, I actually sprayed these black first, these sort of areas where the windows are, then masked the windows, and then I've painted it, well, it actually had grey primer and then white over the top. And although it looks very white on here, it is actually kind of slightly shady white here. And the plan is I'm going to use a similar wash to blend all the details in on this and just slightly weather it. Doesn't want to be too dirty, but you know, something just makes the details stand out. But I've done these first so that I can then mask off all around the edges of these completed panels, and then I'll spray the red, sort of brownish red construction area. And I think this part here is a reddish brown as well. I'm quite figured out how far down it goes yet, but I'll have a look on the stills from the movie and see what that looks like. I've got a feeling this fin is white, but the rest of it is red. So I'll have a look at that. But so that's pretty much, you know, ready to mask up and then spray these areas. And as I say, this piece that's going in the back, this won't have any lights built into this hub because they're actually mounted in the side of the docking bay, so you won't see those. The other wheel, as a lot of people have shown in videos, it's quite difficult to light block this. You can't do it as you would traditionally from the inside. I used to use sort of aluminium foil and things like that, but because of the position of the windows, you can't do that. So all the windows are masked, and I had 2 coats of black, and it just showed through everywhere. So then it's had a coat of silver on the top of that, and then another coat of black, and I've just about got it to the stage where there's just very, very slight areas which I may just go over and sort of hand paint them out, just to block the light out. And then obviously this is going to have a coat of grey and then a coat of white over the top. So it's been a bit of a chore really. There's a couple of areas on the top edge here where it looks like it's a perfect joint, but then you put the lights on and there's still a line showing. And my go-to for this is I normally use crystal clear and fill the gap and then paint over it with black paint, and it works pretty well. I know some people use fabric paint, but sort of each to his own really. Well, crystal clear is just PVA anyway, so you'd use PVA, I suppose, and then paint it by hand. But by and large, it's done now. So this is obviously getting close to that, where I can get this underway. The only other remaining part now is the hub, which is it's got this panel put in here with a hole in to take the end of that drive shaft. I just glued some additional bits of styrene in here just to sort of hold it in place, just in case it came loose. Although, to be honest, there's no real stress on that. Most of it is taken by the block in here. So I'm not anticipating, that's really just to keep the thing centered really. So I'm not anticipating there's going to be any strain on that. This was painted black, then primed grey, and then the white over the top. So this is going to be weathered. Again, the camera makes it look super white, but it isn't really in reality. It's kind of got a sort of off-white cast to it. And then obviously I've got to test this for lighting as well. I'll be putting I've got a couple of small lengths of tape to go in the hub where the actual docking bay is lit, but I'm gonna probably line the inside of this. I'm going to run some aluminium tape around the inside of this, and possibly over the face as well, and make it almost like a pie dish inside, and that means that I haven't got to put multiple coats of black on this to get it to get it to block the light. And I don't really want any light traveling up these spokes either, so if the holes inside are blocked with some aluminium, you're not going to see that. So obviously these are the feeds for the lights in the ring. So everything will all be connected together, and it'll all be off one feed for the lights and one feed for the motor. At the moment, everything's just running off 9 volts. I might get a 12 volt adapter attached to it. These lights will run off 12 volts. And the motor will run off 12 volts as well. The only other thing really that's concerning me now is which way to have it rotating. Now the strange thing is, you see it rotating in 2 different directions depending on which part of the film you look at. On the approach, where it's approaching the ring, it's rotating clockwise, but at the point where the Orion is actually docking with this, and it's pretty much just about to enter the docking bay, it's actually rotating anti-clockwise. Now, quite what the idea behind that is, I don't know. Whether it's a mistake. People say, well, Kubrick didn't make mistakes, but there's plenty of mistakes in 2001, whether they're intentional or not. So it's difficult to sort of decide which. What is interesting is that this motor, it's wired on the bottom there. You can see that red spot. It's wired for an anti-clockwise rotation, but the motor is designed to run in both directions, because the original use for this motor is for sort of opening skylights and windows and things like that, because it's obviously low speed, high torque. However, it is noisier in the clockwise direction than it is in the anti-clockwise. So, and quite why that is, I don't know. I did take the gearbox apart to have a look to see if there was anything, that maybe it was only designed to go one way. It isn't. They're all sort of symmetrically shaped, and it's packed full of grease as well. So there's no reason why it shouldn't work both ways. It just seems to be slightly noisy going the other way. So I may in fact have it running anti-clockwise. So yes, so it's getting there. I'm quite pleased by these. although the detail's quite visible now, by the time these are closed up and the lights on, you're not really going to see very much inside there. But it'd be interesting to see if anyone comes up with an insight for these, with maybe some backlit rooms. As I say, these aren't really accurate to the movie, so maybe somebody will create a more accurate one. Whether there's a demand for that is another thing. I mean, it's a fairly expensive kit, and I suppose a lot of people that build it are not really that bothered about what the inside of it looks like. It's more for the the sort of visual side of the outside. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so hopefully I can get the two wheels painted in the next day or so and start the final assembly. The stand's been painted, the motor's ready to go in. So hopefully the next video, it's all going to be together and spinning and lit up, and that'll be part 4, I guess. So as usual, thanks for watching. Subscribe or like if that's your thing, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much.